What's up, guys? It's the Crypto Ginger here. Just wanted to quickly touch base with you on a couple things that have happened with XRP today. And before we get started, I apologize for not getting you a video out earlier today. I really truly tried to before I went into work, and this was about 9, maybe even 10 hours ago when XRP was sitting at about 45, maybe even close to 50 cents this morning. And I was so excited because I knew that there was going to be some things that potentially could be a catalyst for another price jump. I just didn't expect the price to jump up to 76 cents per XRP today, but it did just that. And looking at CoinMarketCap here, we're going to look at the 1 day. As you can see, it definitely had a really nice spike up before it started consolidating back down, and that's fine. Interesting enough though, this whatever the catalyst was that caused XRP to jump up to 76 cents also pushed XRP into second place, pushing Ethereum down into third. Now of course that has since reversed itself again due to the correction here that's happened with XRP, but that should be expected for anybody who is invested into cryptocurrencies. And just like stocks, anytime something goes up, it does have the potential of dropping back down and consolidating. So you have to expect that, guys. People are trying to take some earnings from this. And just as well, from my last video, I did mention that there were a doubled amounts of XRP shorts happening as well, because there's a lot of anticipation that XRP could go up. And anytime it goes up, speculation is that it will go back down. So people want to make money on both ends of this, and they will most certainly try. But nonetheless, guys, we are definitely seeing some excitement with XRP. It is happening. And one of the speculations, guys, if I haven't already mentioned this, is that one, maybe possibly even two banks that were possibly using XRapid as a protocol beta might have even gone live with it, just to see if going live would actually be effective for the XRapid protocol. And if that's the case, guys, we could easily see that that would be a driving force for the price of XRP jumping up, which is also something that could potentially drive the price up again in the very near future. Until we find out absolutely that was what was happening, at this point in time, it's primarily speculation. So a lot of hype and speculation that was driving up that price point. Nonetheless, a lot of excitement is in the air for XRP. Now, one of the things I've been hearing is whether or not XRP has the potential to actually be another Bitcoin or even be better than Bitcoin. And I wanted to kind of touch bases on that. I have a little bit of news here that is not brand news, but I think it's been overlooked. It could potentially be additional catalyst for XRP price going up. So with that being said, this article here really kind of talks about why Ripple is said to be the next Bitcoin. And because of the in-depthness of this article here, I'm just going to hit on the highlighted points here that they specifically market. And they say that one of the reasons why we could see Ripple being bigger than Bitcoin is the strength of Ripple itself, the company. Really, Ripple is a company that could potentially be somebody that helps back up the idea, or is actually backing up the idea of XRP, but they are also separating themselves from the coin. So we have the company Ripple separated from the currency XRP, but they are working hand in hand together. So interesting enough, Ripple is a company that you can go to. It's an entity, a tangible company backing up XRP. Who's backing up Bitcoin? Really, there's nobody. It is a program, and there are people who ideally focus on the fundamentals of Bitcoin and are working with maybe mining of Bitcoin and things of that nature, but there's not a company that you go to regarding Bitcoin issues and Bitcoin problems like you could with Ripple. So again, that right there, you know, helps Ripple stand alone by comparison to Bitcoin. Another highlighted particular part of the article here is that Ripple is working together hand in hand with members of the SEC for regulation purposes, and they were trying to be one of the first major cryptocurrency companies to do so, because they have a lot riding on the line here when it comes to dealing with major banks all over the world who want to implement XRapid so that they can start working on their cross-border payments faster and at a cheaper rate as well. So it is absolutely in Ripple's best interest to work hand in hand with regulators so that they're not doing anything illegal. And guys, I'm gonna tell you something. If we know for a fact that Ripple is working with the SEC or working with members of the SEC directly, it's not in me to think that they are not ready to go live with whatever programs and protocols they have. I would imagine that these guys have not only talked about it, but have already scheduled a time frame as to when it's appropriate to announce to the public. That is my speculation. That hasn't actually been written anywhere at all. And again, that's my speculation. But with these people being as high up in the rankings that they are, with money and with clout and with the ability to be heard from an SEC standpoint, I would imagine every one of these guys are talking to each other very connectedly and trying to make sure that everything is done to the T and they're dotting their I's the right way, and that way when it happens there is no legality issues they have to worry about. So again, Ripple working hand in hand with the SEC members for regulatory issues. Another thing that this article talks about is that Ripple's transaction fees and speeds are basically, they're far superior to that of Bitcoin. And basically what I'm saying is that XRP is one of the fastest coins right now, and when they start implementing XRapid, it's going to be even faster for transaction and processing speeds. And of course, when they implement Cobalt, it will be even faster. So all of these major banks all over the world, why are they waiting for XRapid to go live? Because they're waiting for all that money that's just sitting there to be transferred back and forth to different banks worldwide. They're waiting for that because they want that speed, and they also don't want to have to pay an outrageous fee as well. So again, Ripple's XRP has the speed, but Ripple's XRapid has an even faster speed, and then Cobalt will be even faster than that. So again, there's no comparison, guys. Ripple stands alone when it comes to fees and also transaction speed. Another thing, guys, the scalability of XRP is by far better than Bitcoin for sure. And another thing that they tackle on, which we already talked about at the very beginning of this video, is the price of Ripple. Guys, this coin is going to be a very utilized coin with majority of the banks all over the world. It is one of the first coins in cryptocurrency history that has an absolute use case as big as it is. So the price of Ripple being at 55 cents right now is probably the best steal of a deal that you will ever see Ripple at again. I don't mean to scare you guys off or anything or FOMO you guys into this, but I'm telling you, 55 cents is probably the lowest. We might see go a little bit lower, but we're not going to see price points of 24, 25, 30 cents. I don't think we're going to ever see that again. If we do, something absolutely major has happened to the entire cryptocurrency market to drive the entire price point down, which means that money was just simply either pulled out of the entire market cap, dropping the entire market cap price down, or simply pulling money out of XRP alone. But something major would have to happen in order for that the XRP price to drop down any lower and get close to about, again, 24 cents or 25 cents. I don't think that's ever going to happen, guys. Not again. Moving on, guys. The next thing I wanted to tell you is that in this article here, it's another more or less kind of use case that Ripple's trying to implement and has been working on. And this article's title states that millions of dollars saved by SMEs and individuals using Ripple in emerging economies. Again, this article is pretty in-depth. I don't want to tackle too much of it, but there was a particular part here that I thought was interesting at the very beginning, stating how, Ripple has been working with emerging economies in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. And they state that behind these needs are SMEs who have been active in pushing total global remittance to over $600 billion in 2018 alone, and responsible for creating employment for more than 60% of the population. So guys, what we're seeing here is that if Ripple gets involved with a lot more of these different types of emerging economies, dealing with SMEs and things of that nature, we could see that $600 billion market cap go for remittance jump up to double or triple, just depending on how much money is available for remittance. And of course, think about the number of people that can actually get some sort of employment from this. If we see a 60% increase the population getting employment or having some sort of employment created, then in the very near future, or the next couple of years even, we could see Ripple expanding that out to, 80%, maybe 90%, who knows? This could be huge all over the world and offer a lot of jobs to a lot of people, and that's awesome. That's huge. Maybe even then, some of those employees can get paid in XRP. Imagine that. All right, guys, so a couple other things here. Lastly, as far as another type of catalyst that we can see help push the price point of XRP up, Ripple's Swell event that's supposed to happen in, I believe, the next couple weeks. They're going to have some major players there. Most of them are going to be your head honchos from Ripple themselves, but we're also going to have a lot of people that have a lot of money and a lot of clout. And of course, former President Bill Clinton is going to be a speaker guest at the event as well. I'm not a fan of Bill Clinton. I mean, that's just me, and I'm not getting into the politics of things. But if you are a fan, he's your guy. He will be there at this event. And I will say this much. That guy, alongside of anybody who has the kind of clout that Bill Clinton has, is definitely bringing money with them. And when they bring money with them, we could easily see XRP go on another bull run for sure. But what's more important about this Swell event is that we could potentially hear from Brad Garlinghouse himself talk about more expected announcements that we don't even know about. So exciting news is laying ahead of us, guys. And I want to end this video off with one little thing here. Okay, remember when I said in this particular article here, guys, that with the title stating that why Ripple is said to be the next Bitcoin? Well, I picked this in particular because of this article, and this is something that's slightly a bit old, actually a couple years old as a matter of fact. And this says the true meaning behind Bitcoin, captured in the Genesis block by Satoshi Nakamoto. Let me read this to you guys, especially if you are new to cryptocurrencies, because this is really, really interesting. On January 3rd, 2009, the first event on the Bitcoin blockchain occurred. Its founder placed an important notation indicating the intent behind what he had just created. The London Times paper ran a cover story entitled, quote-unquote, Chancellor on Brink of Second Bailout for Banks. This title was quoted and embedded into the very first transaction ever to be included in the new Bitcoin blockchain by Satoshi Nakamoto. The blockchain containing this transaction was called the Genesis block. So guys, if you're brand new to this, if you don't understand what I just said there, basically the person or persons behind Satoshi Nakamoto and creating Bitcoin knew the absolute importance behind creating a peer-to-peer transaction coin like Bitcoin, because they wanted something that was decentralized and something that could be avoided being involving the banks or some sort of third-party system. So much so that they went to the London Times and saw this particular paper, and this paper right here is this is the actual paper. Apparently it's actually worth anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million, depending on whether or not you have a copy of this exact paper. But anyways, they took the title of that article there. It says, again, Chancellor on Brink of Second Bailout for Banks, and they embedded that into the very first block that was ever created, called the Genesis block. The creators of this knew that there would be a need for a second bailout for banks. I'm bringing this up to you guys because in 2009, they already knew that they needed to have something implemented to help save people that were either unbanked, wanted to keep their money safe, and have to more or less avoid banks taking their money or being corrupt, fraudulent, having something happen. Because at any point in time, if something were to happen with banks all over the United States, for example, they are allowed to pretty much put a stop on how much money you can take out of your account. So with that being said, when you put your money into a bank, it is no longer really your money. It is that bank's money until they authorize it. You can take some of that money out. So again, the scariness factor of that, and also as well dealing with the fact that we had to have a majority of all of our banks in the United States bailed out because of the amount of debt accrued. Again, the founders of Bitcoin knew this, and that's why they implemented that into the very first blockchain. How this works in relation to XRP is that those behind Ripple knew the importance of the banks. They also knew the importance of what was needed for those banks. And so instead of avoiding the banks, they actually decided to take upon themselves to master that part where you have a faster transaction speed and you also have very, very, very minimal transaction fees. And this right here isn't to sway anybody from looking into XRP. This should push you into looking into XRP. This should actually encourage you to want to find a means for buying into a coin in a company who has a use case for banks. This could potentially save banks. And it could save people who are looking to make something out of these cryptocurrencies, especially if you are an early investor into XRP. If you're an XRP holder right now, in the next 5 years, you guys might not ever have to work again. Who knows? The level and volume that could potentially come into XRP alone just because of these banks using XRP, or sorry, excuse me, XRapid protocol could change the game forever. And if that's the case, guys, we could easily see XRP taking over the first place spot and putting Bitcoin in number 2. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching this. Guys, if you like any of the video content that you see, please hit that like button for sure. It really helps get this information out there to the masses and hopefully new people. And guys, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button just as well. Become part of the channel. It helps us grow even more and faster, and it allows me to get more content out there to you guys just as well. Also, guys, keep in mind, if you really want up-to-date news, download the Berm app that I have in my description below. This is real-time, up-to-date news that you can go through and actually get paid to like it. You just go down to the bottom where it says rewards, click on go vote, vote any of the content news that you see, and you are now rewarded with Berm coins. This all adds up, guys. You can see here I've already accumulated some Berm coin. I would love for you to do the same. For you to get started on that, guys, download the Berm app. Simply go down to where it says me at the bottom right hand corner, hit invite friends, and where it says redeem tokens, guys, and says put invite code, type in my invite code here and then hit redeem tokens, and boom, you just got yourself 150 free Berm coins for just adding that in there. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching my channel. Hope you enjoy. Have a good day. Bye-bye.